You've had a chance to go through the report, at least in a cursory manner. Tell me your biggest takeaway from the report, and then maybe tell us some details that you thought were most interesting.
Just one word sums it up. It's devastating. It really is. I mean, the ethics commissioner, Mario Dion, says that Trudeau and people directed by Trudeau put undue pressure on Wilson Raybould to overturn a lawful decision made by the independent prosecutor's office. They did it on many occasions. They did it in inappropriate ways, and that they put at risk the independence of the court system in Canada. To me, that's devastating. Yeah. Now, I am articulating it in a slightly less bureaucratic way than Dion's office did, but nonetheless, it's very obvious from what's being said. It's not you have to read between the lines or you have to figure it. He says on multiple occasions the Prime Minister directly or people directed by the Prime Minister put unwarranted and undue pressure on the Attorney General to try and cover up the SNC prosecution. Yeah. And I don't think you can get much more devastating than that. Yeah.
Well, and the idea of interfering with the trial, I mean, it's so unusual to hear that in a free country. There's probably been 1,000 Hollywood movies made of some mob boss interfering with the trial. And how do they do it? Well, maybe they can bribe a judge or a prosecutor, but more likely they can bribe someone on the jury. But it's all dirty interference, obviously illegal and criminal. I mean, I can't help but think of that scene in The Godfather where someone was going to turn on the mob boss and then they get to him through threatening his family. They bring his brother in from Italy. That's how it normally looks in the movies. It's a dirty criminal act by a gang. When it's orchestrated through the lawful instruments of the Prime Minister's office, it's going to look the way described in this report. I mean, there's no difference in how, in the goal, stop the prosecution. It's just, it doesn't look grubby. It looks lawyerly, but it's still corrupt.
Yeah, I think corrupt's a good word for it too. And you know, of course, Trudeau is the first Prime Minister to have been found in violation of the ethics laws for taking the free trip to the Aga Khan's private island in the Bahamas. Now he's the first Prime Minister to be found in violation of the ethics laws for having done this, and the conflict of interest laws for having done this. Anybody with any shame would resign. And you could bet that already online and on TV, the CBC and the Star would have been hollering for Stephen Harper's resignation. If this had happened under a Conservative, Andrew Scheer becomes the Prime Minister and something like this happens to him, they'll be the first to shout that he must step aside for the good of the country. They would already have had, because we all knew this report was coming sometime this week. They would already have had lined up their constitutional experts and political scientists who'd say it's not possible for a Prime Minister so badly damaged by these accusations to continue in office. But will you see any of that around Trudeau? No. And Trudeau has no shame, and I don't think he has a lot of intellect, so he probably will not resign. In fact, he definitely won't resign.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant show. Every day, I do a video monologue, and then I interview an interesting guest, and then I end by reading my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at therebel.media/shows.